Hello there, and welcome back to Szpakowo. So, I decided to build the new dairy in between episodes, and I'm happy I did that because it took quite a lot of manipulating and putting into place and readjusting other buildings to fit around it. But we're finally there, and this is what we have. So, this is our new layout. I did decide to go with the bigger dairy in the end. I just felt like the smaller dairy was more of a shop dairy, and to have it placed in a way that favoured us in terms of its drop-off and its collection point meant the shop front was kind of facing the field over here, and I just thought it looked a bit silly. So I decided to shift around the manure bunker and the TMR feed and just place the bigger dairy over here. And I realised that I placed it slightly crooked. I am very tempted to go and correct that, but I'm not going to because that's just a lot of effort in terms of removing, replacing everything, and then setting the correct fill level on everything again. So when it comes to fill level, I've put the fill level up on everything to what it was before I removed the old dairy. And the same with the TMR production. I put the silage in the TMR production, and I have put the level of the inputs and outputs back to what they were. So speaking of TMR, let's activate the TMR and get the rest of it produced up to what it can, because something I noticed while I was working away is that our cows have run out of food and they're at 0% health, so we need to take care of those. Also, the other 10 limousine cows have been sold, so if we look at our VIP order, that piece has been fulfilled. So what we're going to do this month? Well, first off, we are going to feed our cows because they're hungry and they need to be fed. So that's going to be our first job. And then after that, I think we're going to be harvesting. We're not harvesting our sorghum. Is anything ready to harvest in July? I think maybe not, right? I thought we had something to harvest. We do not. So nothing to harvest in July. We could give our grass a chop because looking at this TMR production, we don't have too much hay and silage. So we could give our grass a hay chop, and that will keep us occupied for a little while. And then we'll probably move on to August, where we're going to harvest our sorghum. So I'll drop off our front loader here. I'll get the cows fed, and then we will chop the grass and get that dried and baled up, and I'll rejoin you once we're complete. See you in a bit. this is our grass mowed and almost tedded, and I think from this chop I've realised that we really do need to fertilise and keep our grass field in top condition, because I can already tell there's so much more hay here than grass we got from the last chop. At least it seems like it at this point. And I know that might seem obvious given that we didn't care for our field before we did the last chop of grass, but we only got about 12 silage bales off of the last chop, so that's what, 42,000 litres. Be interested to see how much hay we get off of this chop. So what I'm going to do next is grab the windrower, and I'm going to get the AI to do the windrowing, and then I'll grab the other tractor, drop off the mower, switch it out for the baler, and then do the baling myself. I'm interested to see how much hay we actually get off of this chop, knowing that the field was properly prepared, fertilised and taken care of before the chop. So let's set up the AI for this. I'm going to put the working width up to that, and it's forcing me to do 2 headlands. I don't really want to do 2, but let's see how they go with it. And actually that yield tracker will come in very useful for monitoring the amount of grass and hay we get off of this field. So looking forward to monitoring that over time and just seeing how it performs and comparing fertilised, unfertilised, limed, unlimed, etc. So let's start over in, well, we'll start over in the corner where we set the AI loose, and we shall get to baling up our hay. I will continue, and I will see you in a little while. Okay, so that is all of the hay baled up and dropped in the TMR mixer, and I counted 14 bales there. So at 4,500 litres, that's 54,000 litres in total. So by not fertilising and looking after the field, we lost out on 3 extra silage bales, because that would have been, 3.5, just over 3 actually. Oh yeah, almost 3.5 silage bales, assuming that the grass to hay is a 1-to-1 conversion when you ted it. So yeah, definitely worth keeping our grass field in tip-top condition for every chop. So with that in mind, I'm going to grab our sprayer and I'm going to go over the grass field now and get that taken care of. So let's zip ourselves out of here. It will only take a couple of minutes because our sprayer is super wide working width. So I'll get that done. I've sent the other tractor over to the store to get some fuel, and I'll go fill that up as well. So I'll get both of these things done, and then we'll probably skip through to August. And just looking at this actually, oh yeah, doesn't need too much, but it does need a little bit. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so there's no, okay, yeah. I made this mistake before, didn't I? You have to wait until there's at least one growth stage of grass, otherwise no crop is detected and too much fertilizer is used. So we'll leave that until next month. Yeah, we'll leave it until next month when we have one growth stage of grass. And actually, what I will do is I'll just leave the sprayer here at the edge of the field to remind myself to do it, because otherwise I'm just going to get overly excited about doing the sorghum and I'll probably forget about the grass. So I'm going to skip through to August and I will see you there. Okay, so it is August, and first thing we're going to do is jump in our tractor, and for once I didn't forget, and get this field sprayed with fertilizer. So let's continue with this. We'll put the steering assist on just because it's easier. So yeah, we'll get this taken care of, and then we will move on to other things. I believe we have, okay, so we need to fill up our mushroom greenhouse with water, and I think we have some stuff to sell this month. Yes, our spinach pasta is ready to sell, and I'll just jump out of the menu so I can spin ourselves around here, and we'll take a closer look once we get on this straight bit on the other side. So yeah, so our mushrooms are our spinach pasta is ready to sell, so we can take care of that. And then I think that's it for now. Yeah, that's it for now. So what we'll do is we'll quickly finish this off, and it's almost done already. It's not, doesn't take long. There's a bale there. I realised I forgot to pick that up. So we'll get this done, and then we'll set a worker loose with the harvester on our sorghum field, which is ready for harvesting. Then we'll load up the pasta and take care of that. We'll feed our mushrooms some water, and I think we'll probably finish topping up the cows as well. And thinking of topping up the cows, we should probably switch off the TMR production. There we go. Okay, so this is the grass ready to go for the next chop. So let's grab our harvester and start harvesting our sorghum. It looks like we're due some rain, so we need to... In fact, I think I just heard the rain starting, yeah, so we're not going to be able to start the harvest until the rain has disappeared. I don't see any rain, but I hear it. Must be that invisible rain that you get sometimes. Alright, let's get our pasta loaded up and taken over to Capturez. I will start the harvesting off, but I'm not sure that it's going to finish in time, so we will see. Anyways, I'll carry on with some of this, and I'll be back with you shortly.
technicals inside. Hold on. Black technicals inside. Hold on.
Okay, so here we are over at Capturez. Got our 10,000 litres of spinach pasta and ready to offload it. Unfortunately, we ran out of sorghum and flour to continue producing, so definitely need 2 streams of grain to produce enough flour for what we need. So there we go, sold off there, and that one. So what do we get? 24, about 30,000, so that's pretty good for 10,000 litres of pasta. So we are back at the farm. We're ready to load up our other trailer with TMR. Let's see how much the cows have actually used. Okay, so they've used quite a bit, like 12,000 litres, 13,000 litres, something like that. So this full trailer load of TMR should fill up the input and keep them chomping away happily for a couple of months. And while that's emptying, their slurry is doing just fine. Let's check contract, because I'm wondering if there might be. No, there's no harvesting contracts for grain. It's no good to us. Yeah, there's nothing that we can take care of. Okay, so let's now, I guess, skip forward time to when it stops raining so we can start harvesting. I'll see you there. Okay, so it has stopped raining, finally, and we've got our harvester ready to go, so let's fire it up, and let's see how much yield we get off of this sorghum field. So we don't have any sorghum anywhere, and actually we don't even need to track how much we're getting because we have that handy yield tracker, so perfect. We will get this harvest started. I'm thinking, do I do it myself or do I let the AI do it? I think we can do it ourselves, letting the AI intervene when we need to empty the trailer. I think that works best. So I will continue with this, and I will see you shortly. Okay, so the harvester's done a full lap of the headland, and I've found an issue with this trailer. The harvester doesn't seem to recognize it as a trailer when it's configured for 25,000 litres, which is really unfortunate. So we've had to get it configured for 12,000 litres just so the harvester will recognize it and empty its tank into it. So I'm going to have to report that as a bug. Anyways, we've emptied our first load of sorghum into the grain mill, so let's go to our grain mill and let's start up the sorghum flour. We'll stop the wheat flour because that's still ongoing, and let's continue collecting the grain off of this harvest, and so I will rejoin you again in a bit. Okay, so the harvester's just finishing off this little streak here. I don't think I need to drive along with it and let it empty into the trailer directly. Definitely not going to fill up a full harvester load with this little strip. Been thinking, and I think what I'm going to do is sell the bakeries, because I think just having all that flour focused on the pasta production, producing both regular and spinach pasta for now, is going to be more profitable than producing bread in those tiny bakeries. So we're going to empty this load into the grain mill. In fact, we'll stop the trailer, we'll leave the trailer here for a second, and we'll wait for the harvester to finish, and we can empty the harvester into the trailer into the grain mill. Let's take a look at these two productions, because I'm going to put the flour that's in them into the pasta production. So we have 1777, 1776. So 3550. So let's stop these, stop this, stop this, and then stop all of these as well. We also have 1040 rice flour. The rice flour I think we'll just have to sacrifice. Let's take a look at the pasta production. Okay, so we can put that in the pasta production as well. So 3550 plus 1040 of rice flour plus 3000 sugar, which we can put in our dairy. And then we'll just sacrifice the bread. Okay, so I've set all of the amounts in the other productions to what they should be. So let's sell both of these. There we go. They've both been sold, and that space is ready for probably the large bakery when we get it, although we will see when that time comes around. Maybe we could put some kind of extra shed or some kind of pallet storage there. That would be good, just to have all of our pallets in one place. Take a quick look at the rice field here. Yeah, we can't flood it this month. How much have we lost? We're not flooding it. Oh wow, we've actually lost a considerable amount here. Yeah, that's not good. Considerable amount has perished, unfortunately. Okay, well that will teach us that flooding the rice field is important if we don't want bad things to happen. Let's take a look at this little yield calculator we have. So we only want to see our owned fields. And is this where we got our sorghum from? Okay, so this is what it looks like. Year 11, 21,433 litres. That doesn't seem right, because we've had 2 full trailer loads, which is 24,000 litres, plus whatever's in the trailer still. So that's about 33,000 litres. I am suspicious of this mod. Let's take a look at, what did we harvest off of here? Was it hay? Where did we get our hay from? We got hay from here, 69 to 60. And what did we make? What did we say? We said about 54 because we counted, oh no, we counted 14 bales, didn't we? Not 12. So that would be 45 plus 18. 55, 62. I'm not sure that it's accurate. We'll monitor it as time goes on. But when we get back to the tractor, we'll empty the sorghum into the grain mill, and then we'll see if the yield amount in the yield tracker has increased. So 24,000 plus 9,805. So 33,805 is what it should be showing. Don't know why it's saying only 21,000. Let's take a look at 116. Where's sorghum? Yeah. Average yield. I don't know why it's saying that, because yeah, unless it takes a while to update, that is incorrect. Okay, so what is next for the month of August? I don't think there's anything really left to do. We'll skip through to September. We'll do our rice field, so I'll see you there. Okay, so it is September. Let's take a look to see what needs doing this month. So our cows are doing just fine. They are munching away. They're going to be sold in 5 months, which is good. Our productions, I think they're all doing fine. Let's take a look at our pasta production. That is building up flour now, so we can activate the pasta, and the spinach pasta is already activated. And just taking a look at our other productions, got plenty of sugar beet. Our rice oil has run out, but I think I'm going to leave that active because we're about to harvest our rice again, and it can all go in the oil mill this time, given that there really isn't much else we can do with the rice for now. Yeah, I think that's about it. So let's jump in our harvester. Let's get our rice harvested. Now I'm interested to see actually how much rice we get this time around, because we didn't flood the field. You can already see the dead pieces here that are not being left in the field. So yeah, interested to see what we get. Anyways, I'll continue with this and I will see you once we are complete. Okay, so that is our rice harvest complete for the year, and I don't think we lost too much from not flooding the fields. 9,800 in the trailer, plus 3,593, so it's 12,800, 13,700. Yeah, I don't think we lost too much. However, it doesn't mean we shouldn't flood it. We should always flood the field just to ensure we have the maximum yield. So we'll empty this into the oil mill, and while that's emptying, let's take a look at this yield tracker to see if it reported correctly. So we'll go to long grain rice, and apparently we only yielded 5 litres. So I would say that this yield tracker is bugged and doesn't work. We definitely got more than 5 litres. Let's check it again. Yeah, and then if we check the sorghum from last month, still showing 21,000 litres. So yield tracker doesn't work. Don't bother downloading it if you were considering it until it's fixed. I will disable it at the end of this episode. So what is next? I don't really think there's too much else to do. We'll take a quick look to see. Let's jump in our harvester, and I think we're going to be using our harvester for soybeans later in the year, aren't we? So we'll park it away for now, because I think our soybeans are... Actually, when are our soybeans ready? Let's take a look at the growth map. Soybeans and cotton is next month, so we'll take care of both of those next month. Let's drop this off, and then we may as well take our harvester over to the soybean field so that that's ready for next month. Okay, so we're ready for the soybean harvest next month, and also we'll be ready for the cotton harvest as well. So let's empty this trailer into the oil mill. There we go, that can be going into there. I don't think it's going to take it all. Yes, that's expected. So I think we'll leave it there, and then hopefully by the time we need the trailer next month to pick up the soybeans, the oil mill will take some more. We will see. How's our dairy doing with production? It's not producing anything. That's probably because I didn't activate any of the productions, did I? It always helps if you activate it when you want stuff to be produced, doesn't it? Of course it does. So we'll activate the cheese, we'll activate the chocolate, we'll activate the bottled milk, and we'll activate the butter. So we should start producing our dairy products from now. Anyways, I think this is a great place to leave this episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying following along. If you are, please do give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And this is actually going to be my last episode for around 10 days to 2 weeks. I'm going on an IRL adventure and I won't have the capacity to be making videos, but I am very much looking forward to continuing this farming project upon my return, so stay tuned and I'll be back very soon with the next episode. Until then, bye for now.